Hello there, folks. I'm here in Washington, D.C., and this is a beautiful palm that I made a video on a while ago, but it's been a long time, so I just wanted to do a little update on it. I was just driving by, and this is another example of the probably 45 or 50 now different palms, different yards with palms in them that I've come across in D.C. Just walking or driving by them. I had no prior knowledge of this one. I guess over a year ago, year and a half ago maybe, I was just driving on the road over there and I spotted it from the car and came and did a video on it. And it's been a while, so I've been wanting to do an update for a while, and I was just in the area, so I came over to do one, and it's looking fantastic. Looks like it's grown a lot, actually. It really looks great. But it really has, my views changed a lot. I still don't consider palms exactly common in the DC area, but the number that I come across just by walking or driving around is really crazy. Considering the fact that people never imagine that, so many people never imagine they could grow here. And there's, quite a few nice ones here. But one of the craziest things is that, the amount of effort some of the palm people have to go through just to get needle palms, the fact that 40 or 50 people, some of whom undoubtedly are not palm nuts, they just either found one somehow and planted it. The fact that many people that I've come across, and I know there's plenty of others lurking out there that I have yet to come across, and I come across more, pretty often. The fact that many people already that I've seen have managed to get their hands on a needle palm and plant it, is remarkable, because I never see them in garden centers anywhere around here. Same with sable minor, trackies almost never. It really is crazy that many people have gotten their hands on them. And there's some really nice specimens. DC, as you've seen, of course, they're the most common palm here, and for good reason. They're the hardiest palm in the world, at least in temperate climate. Hardiest palm in temperate climate, so of course they do great here. There's beautiful specimens in Cincinnati, Ohio, and places much further north and colder climates. Here they're of course completely bulletproof. Same goes for sable minor, and these people, actually, it's interesting. I don't know if they're palm nuts or not. Certainly there's plenty of palm nuts in DC that have palms in their yard, but there's plenty of other people that have planted, you see just a palm here, a palm there. Certainly some of them are probably not palm nuts. That's one of the things I love to see, and that a lot of palm people like to see, is that it's awesome to see palms in palm nuts yards. That's obviously the greatest. But the other thing is, once you see them sort of making their way into, yards everywhere of people who probably aren't palm people and into like the general population, I guess you could say, that's when you sort of start to, think of them as more common. I would say they're, sort of common-ish maybe, which is just awesome. And of course, I'm sure they're only becoming more common as they become more available. And my hope is that, I know if they were in garden centers here everywhere, I'm sure they'd be absolutely everywhere. So my hope is that they do become available. I'm sure they will at some point in like all the garden centers, because every garden center should be selling them. They would sell, I'm sure they'd sell like crazy, because they're gorgeous and they survive here perfectly. But I just wanted to do a quick update on this one, because this is a really nice specimen. I think I checked on Google Street View, and I think they used to have a trachea here, looked like a waggy, I think. I can't remember, it was a long time ago, but so I think they might have used to have a trachea here that was either removed or died or something. But they have this beautiful needle palm here, and it really is very interesting, because it shows me, it shows how different ways of pruning them, the different ways of caring for them. This one, it seems to have like filled in the crown a bit, but last time it was like, it almost looked like a trachea, but I think I even thought it was a trachea when I spotted it from the road, just driving by, because it had those trunks pruned up, and it does have some nice suckers on it. I don't know if they've removed any, but it's got an interesting sort of like immature trachea-ish look. It really does kind of look like a young trachea. And then, it's very different from some of the other ones in the area. So it's amazing the different forms needle palms can take on. People say tracheas are the hardiest trunking palm. They're the hardiest palm to form a large trunk, but needle palms, especially if you prune them up, there's some that are, have trunks that are, 4 or 5 feet. So, that's certainly a trunk. Same goes for sable minor. So, what's considered a trunking palm isn't exactly always, a concrete definition, because, this needle palm already is forming, probably got about 1.5 feet at least of trunk. Really nice in there, you guys can see. It's got, I think, 2 or 3 suckers, at least 3, that I see. To the top of that frond, it's got to be 7 feet at least. Just a gorgeous palm, and a really nice example of a beautiful needle palm here in DC. And it's just interesting the different shapes that they can assume, the different ways people prune them. I just love seeing this, and every time I'm in DC, I'm always looking for palms, and it's always so great coming across them like this. I just love it, and I'm so glad that we're living in this time when sort of palms are becoming all the more common. You know, I'm sure, you know, just 20 years ago, there were probably very, very few palms in DC outside of just the hardcore palm enthusiast yards. Now they're making their way, you know, through the market a little bit more. People are, you know, they're becoming more available, which is awesome. And I'm sure in another, you know, 20 years, they'll be much more common. And I look forward to that. Look forward to visiting DC in like 20 years and seeing how all these palms have grown and seeing how many more have been planted. Because, you know, it'd be awesome. I've always, like, you know, dreamt about, you know, wondering if the city would, like, plant, you know, one of the trunking sables, like Sable Birmingham, along the streets or something. Because if you could easily have a palm-lined street in DC. Nobody's done that yet. I don't know of any in, like, you know, up north, but that'd be super cool. I'd love to see that. But yeah, just a really beautiful specimen. With a very, you know, tracky-ish look, I think, a little bit. It's funny, there's a tracky planting at DC that has 3 trunks, just like this one, or this one has 4, but 3 main trunks. Looks exactly like that, just a bit bigger. So it's really interesting look, but really, really gorgeous specimen. And I mean, those fronds are just really beautiful. And I mean, just love needle palms. Yeah, you know, if you're in zone 6 plus, definitely try needle palm. And zones, you know, I know people have been in zone 5B that have grown them without protection, places like Illinois and the Midwest. But, you know, in colder climates, they're pretty easy to protect. I highly recommend them. They're just amazing palms. And the temperatures they can survive, I mean, it's just unbelievable when you really think about, you know, obviously people survive cold temperatures too, but, you know, we have houses, we have heating. These palms are out here, you know, bearing the cold with nothing. I mean, at least here, and it does get cold here. So it's pretty awesome to see. Just absolutely love it, and a gorgeous needle palm specimen here in Washington, D.C., zone 7. I'd say this is, you know, we're up probably about 350 feet, at least. Yeah, maybe at least 350 feet. You know, you can see the hill here. It goes down to the rivers, you know, a couple miles over there. The river's at sea level. So, you know, again, all the zones are shifting, but according to the current zones, this is probably more on the 7A side. It's very marginal. It's like 7A, 7B, but, you know, not the warmest microclimate in the city. I mean, it's warmer because, you know, we're in the city, but you're up on a hill here. DC's pretty hilly. And just awesome to see. Just love that. Yeah, needle palms completely bulletproof in zone 7 and pretty much in zone 6 too. Just an awesome species. Rhapidophyllum hystrix, native to the southeast. Take care, folks.